How to start a business in 2024. We are going over this topic in full detail today. I'm going to try to keep it quick because in reality, it's not going to be me telling you, make sure you start this kind of business and exactly like this and this kind of product and this kind of margin. It's not going to be very tactical, okay? It's going to be a lot more how to think about this so that you can go out there and make the correct decisions for yourself, because you're never going to have someone holding your hand the entire way. Even if you're paying for a mentor that you have daily private calls with, you're still going to have to do this yourself. You're going to have to make decisions for yourself. You're going to need to be able to filter what is good content to listen to online and what content is actually not helping you. So we are going to be covering what business models I think are good to look at. We're going to go over the mentality that you need to approach them with, and I'm going to talk about like a lot of my failures and such. Now I think I'm at like business number 9 in total, and I've got a lot of experience on just starting different businesses, and that really is the name of the game a lot of times. Like some of you probably already have businesses that you've been running, but you know that it is nearing the end, or you're on a downtrend with that current business and you need to switch business models. So whether this is your first business or you're looking to just get a new income started, then this is the right episode for you. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're about to tear it up in 2024, my friends, and this is the channel that you're going to want to be a part of. So do that, and then DM me on Instagram at socialbamboo with an underscore at the end if you have any questions. Let's get started. So we're going to be breaking today's episode into 5 different parts. First, we're going to be talking about the business models that are good to choose and which ones you might want to avoid. Then we're going to be talking about the mentality that you want to approach this with. And this is not going to be a bunch of cliches that I say, hey, be confident in your decision and believe in yourself. These are going to be the mentalities that you may have not heard before. In fact, I'm pretty damn positive you've never heard what I'm about to tell you mentality-wise. Then I'm going to give you the greatest marketing hack that you can do that is so simple, but will make your marketing so much easier to get sales. This will literally be the biggest single hack that you can do to get sales quickly. Then I'm going to tell you what your first step in this business needs to be. And most people get this first step wrong. It's not build a website. It's not start an LLC. It's not a bunch of these other things that people think that it is. I'm going to show you what the actual best first step is, and then I'm going to conclude it with another rock solid tip. You already know. So let's get started here. So business models. Online solopreneur business models is all I'm going to touch on. Of course, there's franchises. There is opening up your own roofing company or coming up with some, working business model. I'm going to more talk about how to have an original business idea. So we got like e-commerce. We got becoming a coach, a consultant, an agency. There's also a lot of opportunities with AI that are emerging. And of course, with e-commerce, there's drop shipping, there's Amazon FBA, there's coming up with an original product. All of these things can work. Every single one of them can work, and all of them are very saturated. Now, saturation is only a thing when it comes down to selling products that already exist, all right? So let me just do like a blanket statement around all of these business ideas, because me going into each one individually, like I can, and I can say some specific things for each one that are probably good to take note of, but in reality, the answer is the same for all of them. There is no business model in 2024 that is just easy money. But the thing that applies to all of these is that they're all very high competition, okay? The Pareto principle of the 80-20 rule, which means that 80% of sales happen from 20% of companies. And the Pareto principle applies to like everything, right? Even within those companies, 80% of their sales come from 20% of their customers, and 80% of their sales come from 20% of their products. What is happening in the world today is the Pareto principle is turning into a 90-10 principle instead of an 80-20. So, for instance, let's think about, I'm going to take the company Snuggies, right? So I had a call with a person the other day that wanted to launch a company where they basically sell Snuggies, but they call them Huggies. And he said, yeah, I mean, Snuggies has built their brand to this much, so I don't see why I can't do the same. And actually, that is the very reasoning why you can't. Because it's already been taken, right? You can't just say, oh, what is someone else selling? Let me sell that too, and I'll build it to the same size. If I ask a random person on the street, hey, do you want like this blanket thing that you could wear, and it's like a blanket, but like you can wear it like a jacket? They're like, oh, what, Snuggies? It already owns that space in people's minds. People only remember the first thing that got there, right? Who is the first woman to circumnavigate the world? Amelia Earhart. Who is the second? Who knows? In that race where Usain Bolt set the world record for world's fastest man, you know that he won, but who was second? No one knows, all right? The amount of people who remember the first place versus the second place is drastically different. So you need to realize that this is happening in every kind of industry, right? Especially e-commerce would be the biggest one. I'll give you another example for men's clothing out there. Who are the biggest clothing brands that you're going to see advertised on Facebook and Instagram for dudes? It's going to be Built Basics and Cuts, and basically that's it, all right? Every dude knows about these two companies. And if you want to say, you know what, I want to come out with like basic t-shirts that fit really nice and help show off your muscles, True Classic Tees is in there too. It's already taken, okay? You need to do something different. You can say, I'm polos. We're going to be the best polo company. That's not really taken, right? You can come out with like dress shirts that are, like I was going to come up with like the dress shirts that wear well when they're not tucked in, but that's already taken, right? Untuck It is a clothing brand that specializes in dress shirts that aren't tucked in. You have to niche down. Right? You still have to find a niche. This has been a tip that has been applicable for a very long time, but it is absolutely imperative now. So if you want to come out with a clothing company, yes, you're going to be unique in the sense that your designs are totally original, but that is a very difficult path to walk. Like becoming an original designer with no brand leverage at the beginning, you're playing a game of never giving up. Right? So you can do it, and you better be a damn good designer, and you better really, really want to make it happen, because otherwise, if it takes you 5 years before you come up with winning designs, a lot of people don't have the patience to last 5 years unless you want it bad enough, and that might be the story for you. But if you're just trying to make money online, you're like, look, I'll sell clothing. What do people want to buy? And then let me make that. Which is a lot of times a better way to look at making a business than saying, this is the idea that I have and it better work, right? Saying, what are people buying? And then let me find my way in there. You wouldn't say, let's just make a clothing company and come out with all this stuff. You'd be like, let's like hone in on polos. Let's hone in on mini skirts and try to bring those back, right? You're going to pick a niche to just own that space in people's minds, so that when people think mini skirts, they think your company. When people think polo shirts, they think your company. There are plenty of those opportunities out there. The reason why people can't find them is because they're not thinking like this, right? And they're also thinking, I don't want to pigeonhole myself into a niche, which is not a bad idea whatsoever, right? It's actually very necessary to do this, and it's of utmost importance in this year more than ever before, and it will be in increasing importance every year from now after, that you are just trying to niche down and find that area that is not taken, okay? What do you eat if you want to lower your cholesterol? Cheerios, of course. Is that the best thing to lower your cholesterol? Probably not, but they own that space in your mind. They saw the opportunity. They're like, all right, what's a buzzword right now? People are trying to lower their cholesterol, even though that's really not something that people even need to avoid until their later years. In fact, cholesterol is actually important for a body to function. That's besides the point. They just said, you know what? Anyone who wants to reduce cholesterol, we need to own that. But Cheerios, all right? Chili's is another company that did this, and they've done this with a lot of different products. Where do you get baby back ribs from? Chili's, Applebee's? Do you get it from Texas Roadhouse? You get it from Chili's, of course. Where do you get fajitas? Also, Chili's, right? Because for years, they're like baby back ribs. And then they switched to fajitas, And then now they're just trying to own, like, what are the major dishes that we sell, so that when someone thinks ribs or fajitas, they think us. When they think margaritas, when they think, those freaking egg roll dipper things and the Southwest ranch sauce, you think Chili's. And they're going through and they're owning one product at a time, and they're attaching that image to them, and they're doing it over time, right? So just where you start isn't where you finish, is the point that I'm trying to make here. But it is absolutely imperative that you're not like, we're a clothing company. You ever heard of clothes before? That's our marketing pitch. You have to pick, what can we do? And then maybe you make some special offer around it, right? 3 for 75 polos is like how you get big. We're like, yeah, we just sell 3 for 75 polos all day. We just sell 2 for 45 mini skirts all day. That's our thing, right? So it's not just the product, but it's the offer around it, because you can niche down with a special product. But the other thing people don't talk about is you can find a niche with an offer. Okay, so maybe you say, well, I just really want to sell my unique streetwear. I don't want to come up with polos and stuff, Derek. Like, I really want to make my unique streetwear. Okay, do that, but now come up with an offer that the world has never seen before. Think of like Joseph A. Bank, right? Buy 1, get 3 free suits. The person who pitched that at that meeting, they were all probably like, what are you talking about? We won't make any money. Yeah, we will. Just price one of the suits at $900 and then tell them they get 3 other free $900 suits with it. So they think they got the best deal of their freaking lives. Tell everyone about it. And really, we're just selling them 4 $200 suits, right? What would you rather do? Buy 1 $900 suit and get 3 free $900 suits? Or would you rather buy 4 $200 suits and just think you have 4 crappy suits? All it is playing around with the numbers a lot of times to make offers work. So this is what you're actually trying to do. You're trying to, if you really want to just pick some kind of product that already exists and you feel like it's kind of saturated, you need to come up with the new offer for people to see, so they think like, all right, this is new, and then now you have marketing that you can make that looks fresh and original, and people will really appreciate that. So that's a large part of the mentality that you're trying to do. You're trying to find your niche either with the product or with the offer. This is the other mentality that is very necessary though. Whatever product you come out with, you have to say that you are trying to be the best in the world at solving that problem. If you try to be anything less than the best in the world at solving that problem, you're going to have your mentality just wrong with how to approach this business. So I'll give you like an example, okay? I'm gonna expose a product that I came out with last year that has been selling very well. And guess what? I already own this space. So I wouldn't mess around with it, because if you're listening to me, you don't want to own something that already exists. You want to find that some opening where it's an age-old problem that you're solving, right? You want to try to solve a problem that you know the world has and they spend money on. However, you want to say, how can I solve that problem better than anyone else? So I came out with a product last year called the back knee bar, and I'm going to make another reference to a marketing hack that I did with this in a second. But the back knee bar is a bar of soap for treating body acne. Now, the mission of Back Knee Bar as a company is to find the world's best solution for treating back acne. Not to sell as many bars of soap as I can. Not to make a passive income stream that I can live off of. If you start your company with anything other than the mission to become the best in the world at solving that problem, then you have a short-term company. Because all that would need to happen would be someone to buy this bar, and then it doesn't work, and then I'm screwed, and then they never buy it again. Luckily, I've already had someone buy 9 of them and someone buy 12 of them, even though it came out 3 months ago, right? So I'm really stoked on that. But I also think that we can improve this formula. And my mindset is so much more on improving the formula. Like, I've bought so much skincare stuff recently. I'm just going crazy on learning everything about skincare. I also just came out with a marketing agency in the last few months that has gotten its first 4 clients already, and I'm off to the races, and I feel really great about it. And the goal of that company is to make more 6-figure of this certain industry that I'm in. I'm not going to reveal this one yet, but I'm trying to, like, the client that I'm going for, I'm trying to make more 6-figure ones of these businesses than any person in the world has ever done. And all decisions are based around that. This is also how you're going to choose your business model. Because if you say, you know what, I do want to come out with a clothing brand. You don't have to be the best clothing brand in the world, right? It doesn't have to be that, but you could say we want to be the number one suppliers of the polo shirts in the world. We want to make the best polo shirts in the world. That is a much more doable goal. And my buddy called me out on this the other day when I was talking about this mindset. He's like, yeah, but you'll never be the best. And like, you know, you shouldn't hold yourself to such a ridiculous standard. And like, I understand that, but like, this is a mentality, okay? It's not base your self-worth on whether you're the best or not. That's not what I'm saying. It's that you need to strive to be that. Because even if you do become the best, you still need to keep your focus on being there. Otherwise, you're going to get destroyed like taxis did by Uber, right? Taxis is how do we make a lot of money, like being a taxi company is like what their mentality must have been. Not how can we offer the world the best source of transportation services, because otherwise they would have came out with the idea for Uber themselves. They lost sight of trying to be the best at solving the problem they solve, and they just thought, okay, we've got a really great solution, it's working great, you know, let's just pay attention to making sure that the cab drivers are happy, and we'll make sure that the rates are good, and maybe we'll pay them less over time, and we'll just make sure the cars are upkept well, and maybe we'll switch insurance policies to this other auto insurance. They got lost in the technicals of the business, and they lost sight of your actual job is trying to become the best in the world at solving that problem. Otherwise, someone else will just steal that spot from you. Okay, so this is in the foundation of the company. And the reason why I said this is very important for choosing your business model is because you need to know what you're signing up for when you're choosing your business. And this is why I would never tell a guy to start a makeup company because the margins in makeup are good. Are you going to be the best in the world at mascara or cover up or whatever? And do you have the mindset that is necessary to pursue that relentlessly and keep at it even once you start getting sales to always stay on top? Or do you not know anything about this market and you don't actually care about it at all? And if you were trying to have that be your mission for the next 10 years, you would have the ultimate failure, which is being very unhappy with the business that you built, despite what it may be earning. Even though I feel like their chance for failure is extremely high just because their head's not in it, right? So you usually want to start businesses in markets that you actually know about. And I like to say that you are the target customer of. So unless you're the target customer, you can never try to figure out the solution for yourself, right? Like, how did this idea happen? It's because I had some back acne that I was trying to get rid of. And then I saw that there was an opening in this niche, and then I was like, I need to figure out the best solution. So I am the client. I am the one who takes the before and after photos. I am the one that is constantly trying to solve my own problem so that I can solve the problem for the world. But if you're trying to solve a problem that you've never had, you're going to be really at a loss for being able to be the best person in the world at solving that problem because you just really don't understand it. And this happened with my first invention where I came out with the aquarium smart feeder, a way to feed your fish with an app or with the Amazon Echo. And it sounds like such a great idea. And right away I was like, cool, let me buy like a bunch of fish tanks. I bought like 3 fish tanks so I could understand my market better. And by the time I understood my market, it was 2.5 years into the company where I said, this actually doesn't solve a problem. Okay, now if I had already been an aquarist, I would have known that. But I was like, all right, let me dive into the market, which is like the second best thing that you can do. But still, it made me not ever see that this was not actually a good product because it didn't actually solve a problem that aquarists had. If you're starting a marketing agency, you want to be the best at doing that kind of marketing. If you are starting if you're making a course, someone I just talked to recently, it's a course on how to have an at-home pregnancy. Your goal is to make the best at-home pregnancy course the world has ever seen. That is your North Star for decision making. Now we are going to go into the number one hack that you can do to get sales very easily. And this is the greatest marketing hack that you can possibly do to any company from here forward. All right. From now till the end of time, this is really the name of the game. Why did I call the company Back Knee Bar? Even though this has some lava rock is in the formula and there's charcoal in it and there's vitamin E in this bar, I could have called it the Lava Bar, right? That's pretty cool. That sounds pretty cool. It's because if you do not name your company and your products around the problem that they solve, you are going to have to spend way more on marketing than the companies who don't do that. Okay, think of like McDonald's. If they came out right now, they wouldn't last, because when you go on to Apple Maps and you type in burger, they wouldn't come up. You're like, what's McDonald's? I don't know. I won't go there. They came out at a time that it was more acceptable to just name your business off of whatever, and they pioneered fast food, so it was fine, right? Now everyone knows what it is. But if you came out with a burger restaurant now, if you don't have burger in the title, you're screwed. Like, you're not going to make it, because no one will ever hear about you through the main way that they look up a restaurant, which is Apple Maps or Google Maps at the time that they're hungry. That's when you want to come up. So if you want to like do really well, name your burger restaurant Burger Bar Near Me. So then they're like, burgers near me. Oh, there's a place called Burgers Near Me. Oh, that's funny. I get it. Right? Like, whatever your company is, like, you have to be SEO friendly, and you have to be very clear, because no one's going to be like, oh, Michael's, or like, oh, Michigan's. I wonder what Michigan's is. Oh, it's a burger place. They're just making yourself have to do so much more marketing before people are like, Michigan's equals good burgers. Like, just call your place Good Burger, all right? Like, call it exactly what it is. Don't do any kind of fancy name. And this is with the podcast too. Like, if you want to start a podcast, which is not a good idea anymore, if you call it anything other than like exactly what people type in, you'll never be found. Okay, you cannot call, like, I wouldn't call my Instagram Marketing Pros podcast the way of the hashtag, because no one types that in, right? It's just become on the Instagram Marketing Pros. Like, you already know what you're gonna get. Like this is the only way. It's so necessary. The one last point that I'll make to this is, when you see a Facebook or Instagram ad, what is the first thing that you see? Is it the image? Is it the caption? It's actually the name of the company, right? The name of the company is on top, then the image, and then the caption. So the first thing they see is it either clarifies what you do or it causes confusion. Confused minds don't buy. So if you try to get fancy with your company name anymore, all you're doing is confuse them, then show them an image, and then we'll give a little clarity, and then the caption will give them clarity. Hopefully they read the caption, but a bunch of people won't even make it to the caption if they're confused to start with. So you have to name your company off of what it does. Now we're going to go into the final 2 installments here. What is the first move you make as a business? You actually do want to come up with the business name, but then your next step is to pursue sales. Not make an LLC, not make a website. You can make a Facebook page and or an Instagram. And what you're going to do is you're going to run an ad that is dead simple, that is trying to sell whatever you're coming out with. All right. So I just came out with an agency test recently where I was going to maybe make a marketing agency for plastic surgeons. And I could say plastic surgeons got all this money. Like, let's just go, like, let's just dive in full force. Let's make a website. Let's do that whole thing. Let's maybe even pay a website guy, God forbid, and make all of that. Let's buy an LLC. Let's buy an EIN. Instead, all I did was I made a Facebook page called Plastic Surgeon Solutions. I made a logo using Midjourney AI, and it looked freaking sick. And then I put out an ad that said, hey, plastic surgeons, let me run your Facebook ads for 1 week for free. And if I can't get anyone to take me up on that, then I know I shouldn't even be doing this business at all, right? Or maybe I'll say, hey, plastic surgeons, let me run your Google ads for 1 week for free. I tried that as well. And then what I did is I spent $300 on the ads to try to get plastic surgeons to sign up for a free week trial of me doing marketing for them. And I didn't get any takers. I got 5 leads, and all of them were people confused that wanted plastic surgery. None of them were even plastic surgeons. What that means is, good thing I didn't make an LLC or EIN or website yet, because those things aren't necessary. People think branding is necessary to get sales. Branding is necessary to scale, but sales happens without that, right? You only need to say, this is the solution I'm offering. So the first thing that you should do is run an ad to try to get sales and spend a couple $100s so that you can know if it's going to work or not. Otherwise, you can be like me and spend 2.5 years building an aquarium smart feeder, and maybe I didn't spend as much on advertising, but I burned 2.5 years of my entrepreneur journey. I could have figured out that product wasn't going to work in 1 week if I first put my focus on, let me run an ad to see if people will even fill out their name and email to get a 20% off coupon to get one of these. And then, even because the product doesn't exist yet, so I can't sell it, but let me see if people will fill out their name and email to get a 20% off coupon for this product. And then based off of that response, go through with this or not. So a lot of entrepreneurs get so married to their idea because they're like, it's going to work, it's going to work, it's going to work. And then they invest so much into everything. We did everything for that company, blog posts. Like, I really learned a ton about online marketing through this company. So great. But now I don't have time to waste. I'm not looking to come up with a business that's going to fail, and nor should you have that mentality. So the first thing you do is you see if you can get customers. And like I did with this marketing agency, I was like, let me see if I can just do it for free, right? You don't have to come out and try to do this fancy pitch. Just see if they will take you up on your offer for free. And then there you go. If they do, then you get your testimonials, you know exactly how to price it, you know actually how to do it too. And then you can make all the decisions from there. But first step is product proof. Do not do anything until you have absolute undenying proof that people will at least take you up on it for free. And then the second step is that they're willing to pay for it. And you can say, oh, well, you did all that work for free. Who cares? I'm just trying to get this product proof in as quick of time as possible conclusively. Once I got no one to even sign up for free for Plastic Surgeons Agency, then I started digging around. I'm like, oh, like there are some very well-established agencies. Like, I don't really want to compete in this field. I don't want to become the best marketing agency in the world for plastic surgeons because I can already see that space is very well owned. And I'm looking at about 5 years or more of very hard work before I could become the best marketing agency in the world for plastic surgeons. So is that a path that I want to walk? Yes or no? No, it is not one. And the niche that I chose, I feel like I really found a niche that within the next year, I'll be the best marketing agency for this particular niche. So that is why I said, if the path that I'm actually choosing is to become the best in the world at doing this thing, this is the one that I can see is a more sensible path to take to get to that position. Now, here is the last tip, and it's the most important. If you do not start your business right now, you'll never do it. Whenever I tell people this, they like to laugh and say, "Oh yeah, you're just being intense. I get how you are, Derek. You like to say, yeah, hey, if you don't start right now, you'll never do it," as a way to just, kick my butt in gear. I get it. I'm dead serious. I have been doing business coaching for over 5 years now, and I've been coaching individuals on sales for the 7 years prior to that. If you have a mindset that thinks getting things done later even exists, you won't make it, because there are people like me that don't operate on that premise. Every business I've ever wanted to start was started the day I thought of it. When I thought, you know what, I do want to do a podcast, I came out with my first 3 episodes 3 hours later. 3 episodes, boom, 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 boom. How to set up your bio, how many hashtags should you do? Cool, 3 episodes, done. There is no thought process that needs to happen. Because if you don't do it now, the longer you wait, the more irrational fears will set in. It's like you're standing on a diving board staring at the water. If someone has been up on that diving board for even a couple minutes staring at the water, are they very likely to walk down those stairs and come back? If they've been standing up there for an hour, are you thinking, oh wow, they're getting closer and closer to the point that they're going to jump? Or are they getting closer and closer to the point that they will walk down those steps? No one is an exception to this. And to think that I'll be the exception, why are you even thinking like that? Why wouldn't you start it today? Oh, well, I need to do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, do something. Just do something at all. Make the Facebook page. Boom, it started. That's it. Make the Facebook page. Make the Instagram account. Make your first post. You want to do a podcast? Make your first podcast right now. Well, I don't know what kind of equipment I need. Google, what kind of equipment? Oh, I only need my phone. Oh, well, I don't know where to publish it. How to publish podcast, Anchor, free. Got it. Done. Everything every little question that you have of why you're not doing it is a Google search. So it's actually total bullshit. And if you aren't good at calling yourself on your own shit, you're not even supposed to be a business owner in the first place. I mean it, because no one has ever proven me wrong on this. I'm not trying to sound harsh. I'm just being as honest as I possibly can, and no one has ever showed me wrong on this. I've talked to so many people about starting a podcast. I said, all you really need to know is if you don't do it right now, you'll never do it. And they all said, ha ha ha. And I went, I'm fucking dead serious. None of them did it. None of them. Dozens of people. None of them did it. All of them laughed when I told them, if you don't do it right now, you'll never do it. That's it. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know what kind of mic. You don't need to know any of the logistics. You'll figure that out. It's very simple. Very, very simple. Podcast is super, super easy, by the way. But this pertains to every business that you would start. If you don't start it right now, you'll never do it. That's it. Hey, more for me, more opportunities for me. I don't care. It makes no difference to me. If you like today's video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and look for more content coming soon. Happy 2024, y'all.